of Jet, or what do you think of Tech? And
Well,
I'm definitely
he has proved to us that he can make all the throws now. I thought he was dynamic last year, and obviously he can extend plays. We got a chance to watch him on just today on the third down reel, and just he can get the ball around a lot of great weapons. But we've seen him like scramble out of like 4 or 5 tacklers, extend plays, and he's really, really improved. That was the first thing that when we saw him on tape that we thought was, last year we played against him, and he made some really good throws and he extended plays, but he looks so much more comfortable back there, and credit to those guys coaching him up.
Yeah. Why do you guys have definitely stabilized things, it seems like, the last few weeks. Why do you think that is?
Safeties.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's when we've had Caden Stearns has been a big part of it. BJ when he's been healthy, and DeMarvion Overshown. He got a little banged up during the game, but I think for the last couple of weeks it really adds a key component to some of the stuff that he can do and how we can use him. So when you have guys back there with experience, you can do some different things, and when you don't have a lot of experience, you got to make sure you do things that those guys know. And our league is. The offensive coaches in our league are so dynamic and so good and so creative that it doesn't take them long to figure out what you're doing. And if you're doing some of the stuff over and over again, they can do some stuff to scheme you up. So, just having those guys back there gives us the ability to do some different stuff.
What have you been working on with Jalen Green, especially the past couple of weeks when you've seen teams kind of target him at times?
Well, it's just the same thing. Jason at the end of every practice, working on locating the football, and that's the biggest thing is, it's not an athletic ability deal. It's not. Sometimes it becomes a confidence deal and just picking up the ball and understanding. And some of these guys, they're good with their hands, receiver-wise, where they can, they can get on you, and it's a little bit of inexperience and a little bit of strength. So we just got to teach them that stuff because they're not getting the doors blown off them where they're 50 yards away from a guy that can't make a play. They just got to locate the ball and some of these back shoulder stuff and locate the ball if somebody's getting into your body a little bit and know how to combat it. So just keep working it over and over again. And that's, the stuff about just learning, just constantly teaching those guys how to, understand how receivers are taught and then how to defend some of the stuff that they're seeing.
Todd, with Joseph's side, I know you've had to use Joe in a lot of different ways. Is there a role you ultimately, maybe not this year, but going to make sure you really want him to settle into and really, you kind of weaponize him?
Yeah, well, it's multiple right now depending on some of the pieces that are behind him. I mean, obviously in the beginning of the year, you could start to use him towards the line of scrimmage, and then we had some of the injuries, and you got to move them around. And to me, it just comes back to who are your best, 2 guys, when you're playing 2 linebacker system, and who's your best 3 guys, and who's more comfortable playing at a certain spot. So to answer your question, I really can't. It's kind of looking at the whole picture in terms of like a guy like DeMarvion Overshown, which we can use as kind of a swing around guy, and then, but at the end of the day, we're going to try to get our best 11 on the field. So we'll see Joe get better and better as as his career continues on. But it's just we're trying to get our best crew on the field, and sometimes what ends up happening is, a guy gets hurt for a game, then he comes back and he's our next available guy. Okay, who can we move around to play in different positions? And Joe gets used quite a bit in those situations.
One thing a bunch of players mentioned today that they noticed about Tech was the tempo.
Yeah.
How quickly they get off players. What kind of challenge does that present?
It's, we looked at it, we look at their TV copies, and it's really about 12 seconds of play, which is really, really fast. And we've been out there and we've really strained our guys at trying to push the pedal down, trying to get them to jump off sides, do all the stuff that we believe that they're going to try to do to us. So it's, once again, it just goes back to getting to the ball, taking the call, getting lined up. And I think it's really cool because what they'll do is they'll go really, really fast, let you get lined up, see what you're in, go to the sidelines. And then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have the ability to change calls as they look back. So, these offenses are made this way, just the pace guys and to get people in space and to get somebody tired. And then when that guy gets tired, if he can't tackle, then that's when big plays happen. So, you get into, this late into the season, like we'll do it like maybe 16 plays where we'll just hammer the gas down, not 16 straight, but we'll go 4 as fast as we can with the 1s, 4 with the 2s, and then do it again. Because you got to be mindful that especially with a short week, that you don't crush our guys, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we know how to get lined up, but we got no legs going into this game. So we took 2 blocks today, and that's all we did. I mean, it was straight, like, offense knew the 4 plays that they were going to run, already predetermined. We let them line up as fast as they can. There was no cards, and we really strained them and just say, this is what this game's going to be like. And that's all you can do is just practice it.
Coach, on Monday, Coach Sherman had said that he didn't feel like the players had been developed enough within the program. My question is, why do you think that is?
Ultimately, we have to do a better job as coaches to get these guys to play at a Texas level. I mean, at the end of the day, that's our jobs. These kids, and like Joe Asai is a good example of it. They're trying their hearts out. We're very demanding on those guys. To answer that question, I think there's, the part of development sometimes takes a little bit of time depending on what you're going against. So for us personally, one offense might look like this, another offense might look like this, but it's our job to make sure that these guys understand what we're doing, and at the end of the day, playing really, really fast. So, it's one of those questions where it's, we're in that room working our tails off. They're on the practice field working their tails off, and then when we get on Saturdays, what we got to do is we just don't think anymore, just put your foot in the ground and just go run and hit. And I think that's what we're starting to do a little bit better defensively in at least the last couple weeks, of not over processing things. That sometimes when you get guys in there that don't have a lot of experience, I think sometimes they do that. But it's a work. It's just working every day.
How much has this season been the defense's just inability to create a pass rush out of your front 3?
Well, I mean, it's
Or a
I
consistent pass rush.
I don't. It gets into, once again, is how fast the ball is getting out,
Mm-hmm.
and how well were we covering them. So sometimes that goes into it. You look at it, and some things that we're doing schematically are to help some people. And sometimes there's some stuff that, 4-man rush, if they can get there and we're covering guys up, but if the ball's gone in 2.1 seconds, it's, and you can't get there,
Right.
And that seems to be kind of the common theme in our league, is get the ball out of your hands and not take sacks, and these guys are the same way. Tech's the same way. I mean, they're giving up, I think it's like 14 sacks this year, because they're telling their guys to get the ball going. So there's a happy medium between it. We'll blitz guys, and people will max protect. And it's okay. We can't get any pressure. We brought 5 guys and they blocked with 7.
Mm-hmm.
So the ball goes on the sidelines, and the guy's one-on-one
Right.
in comparison to covering some guys up and making the QB throw a ball into bad coverage and just making plays. So it's a combination of both.
Because I don't imagine, you're not going to change your whole scheme just because of one off year. I get that, right? So is it just a matter of the scheme is still good, just need better players?
No, it's
or better coaching?
no. Come on, man.
I know, but philosophically, we don't
But-
get to talk to you
but-
that much.
I know.
We don't get to talk to you in any other form with this.
I know, but
So, and I'm thinking big picture.
I'm thinking big picture too, is we continue to get better. That's what we have to do. I mean, that's point blank. That's what we have to do, is to continue to get better and execute and continue the course. That's it.
Mhm.
Is there any advantage for your game plan this week, for your familiarity with Matt and coaching with him and working for him?
A little bit. I think they're a little bit different than when I was there. I don't remember us at Utah State. We used to go decently fast, but not this fast. And there's some things that are different. But in terms of the way that Coach Wells thinks, I don't know if that's an advantage. And he'll probably say the same thing if you asked him. The way that we think is probably more important than the actual scheme itself. So I know he's going to be aggressive. He's always been that way. He's always been take shots down the field. They're already doing that on film. And he knows that there's going to be times that we're going to be aggressive in kind of the moment. So that by itself, I think, will be a little bit of a cat and mouse. But I think they do what they do, we do what we do, and there's a short week, and I don't see there's going to be a lot of change. I think the thing that probably they will do is, either try to go really, really fast or do a lot of like double count and try to see what we're in and then try to call the best play versus what we're in.
Coach, are you concerned at all about, the future at Texas after a year where maybe you guys didn't hit the standards that you're
Well,
hoping for?
here's what I'll tell you, is when you get to a place like this, every second of every day is work your tail off. And you get to be my age off of that, there's an understanding. It doesn't matter, you come in here and you do the best job. To me personally, it's about staying in routine. You sit back and you look at your work and you sit back and you look at your routine, and if your routine is elite, then you just got to continue to work away. So, that part of it is just part of this profession. This profession, the second you get into any place, that's your mentality anyway, is to go in there and do elite work. So I don't think that way. I come into every job thinking that I'm going to be elite.
And that's what I'm trying to find out, is that I know you still feel very good about this scheme fundamentally, right? It's just a matter of keep sticking with it.
You just
You're telling guys.
continue to develop guys that, for the most part have, they're freshmen, sophomores, and continue to stay the course with them. Okay, you saw some of the results of it when we got into year one, and
Right.
you're playing with the Malik Jeffersons, who played a lot of football as a junior, and you go in there and see the Anthony Wheelers, the Chris Boyds, that we're fortunate enough to be, juniors and seniors, those type of guys, and
Right.
and now it's time to get these guys to get to those type of levels. So
Right.
it's a constant teaching and a constant learning every day. Every day you're in that classroom on that football field with those kids.
Kind of piggybacking off Brian's question, I know you talked a lot in the past about the two inside linebacker spots,
Yeah.
how huge those are. Do you feel like with the guys you've got, not just Deli and Juan, but like Benda and those guys,
Yeah.
do you feel like that group can get you next year to where you need to be?
Yeah, I think David has a chance to be a really, really good player. And unfortunately we lost Marcus Tillman to an early injury, and but I think those guys are going to be good, and I think you'll see Deli continually get better, and same with Joe. I mean, it's like anything else. It's a league that they'll strain those guys quite a bit, and I think there's a learning curve that goes along with it. But I feel good about some of those younger guys coming along.
On the film, I know you probably were happy at least with the third down conversions.
Yeah. Game comes down to situational football a lot of times, right? And didn't convert third downs to stay on the field, and that's a big part of scoring points, obviously, right? Helping our defense out. Our defense played well. We didn't help them at all early, late, at any time in the game, and it was disappointing. It's frustrating. I know we can be better. I know our players feel like they can be better. We didn't put our best game out there.
You were only a few weeks ago ranked second in the country in third downs, and in the last 2-3 games, percentages have gone down. Do you know why?
I think one of the things, we're not as good on first down. So we're getting a lot more third down and long situations than we were. I think we were very efficient early, right? The goal on first down is to get 4 yards, put you in 2nd and 6, manageable. Second down, get half, so you're in a good manageable run pass area, and 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, somewhere in that range to convert downs. If you're sitting at 3rd and 10, it becomes harder. And defenses know that. And, those guys, we were in 3rd and longs. They rush 3, drop 8. There's not a lot of windows and throw lanes. There's just not. And it's just the nature of that defense.
Do you know if there have been more penalties or sacks within that?
I think it's a combination. Yes, we've had some self-inflicting wounds. There's no question about it. We've had, you name it, we've had it. Missed throws, drop balls, offensive penalties, negative yardage plays. I mean, all of it.
That's what I want to ask Tim about. Sam knows when to check down, obviously, and I'm sure it's a series of if-then scenarios. If the DBs or whatever, you do this, then that. Is there a balance that you and he have to strike of, hey, listen, sometimes you may need to force it, or maybe he feels pressure, like, hey, things are happening in the second half, I need to make it happen. But if the rules say check down.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a great question because that's real. That's an ongoing. It's also, hey, when do you run it? when you get out of the pocket and scramble, when you keep your eyes up and throw it down the field. You know,
Right.
I mean, you have that same issue. Having played that position, it's a feel. I mean, it's hard to, you can't put a robot back there. You can't overcoach him and make him robotic, because then he's a great player because he's instinctive. He plays with passion, and he makes plays. And the minute you start to handcuff him with all these rules, he doesn't play very well. And so you guide him, you give him, you know, it's like a worker, right? You give him tools. Here's all the tools you can have in your belt. Now when that worker goes and works on a project, he decides what tool he needs to use for that project. And it's the same with Sam or anybody on our team for that matter. The coach's jobs are to supply them with as many tools as they can for their position, and then use those tools to execute their assignments. And we talk all the time about, hey, here's what they're doing. Maybe this is a better option. But he's playing. I'm not. It's easy for me to sit there in a chair with a clicker and
Say do this, do that.
a bottle of water and go, hey, you should have did this. Like,
Right.
I know he's got guys breathing down his neck and all that stuff. So we talk through it. The biggest thing I look for is his reasonings why. Like, that's what I look for. If he has hey, coach, I was going to throw the curl. I saw the guy get underneath the flat defender. I knew the back I'd eaten up in protection. I'd have run it. Okay, that's good. You're right. That's exactly what happened. So, and he's pretty good on that.
Pretty good on being able to come up and tell you
Oh,
exactly
exactly what happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
What's happened with the run game, Coach?
You know, I don't know. Like, we
Unders
just
and layers.
the same thing. You know, we're just not efficient. We'll get, you know, we had a couple 5, 6, 8-yard runs, and then it's -4. You know, I mean, it's just, we're not efficient right now, and I don't know. I can't put a finger on it. You know, I can't. We're trying. We're looking at what we're calling. We're looking at, you know, everything and how we're coaching it and the defensive structures that we see. It's just, I mean, they did a better job than we did.
You feel like guys, they know what's coming? Does it ever feel like they've got a good idea that at a certain time it might be a run play?
Maybe. You know, there could be tendencies. I think, you know, I've been doing this for 30 years. Every offense has tendencies. I mean, that's T.O. He's going to come in here and tell you the same thing. Everybody he plays, they have the same ones, because there are certain things. There's certain things that you are good at, right? So it just was on this in the radio. It's the same thing. Okay, every week, do you come in, scrap your offense, and decide, here's what we need to do because we're showing this play too much, so we need to do this? Or is it, hey, how about stopping this play first because we're pretty good at it? Like, what is it? What's the answer, right? So there's a happy medium between that to figure out, we're good at this. Let's do this, right? And we felt like that. I mean, we were rolling along there pretty good, and then we hit a speed bump, and we're just not making plays right now. We're not. We don't have. I can't remember. I mean, I know Keontae had the big explosive run. We haven't had an explosive pass in a while. A long touchdown. Like, we were getting those every game, and we're not putting that fear into people. They got to back up. Okay, then now we can run the ball, and that's not happening.
Tim, I know Coach Herman said Monday, he said he didn't feel like, as a staff, that players have been developed, you guys have gotten the most out of them. I guess, would you agree with that? And if so, where's maybe the disconnect been of not getting the most out of guys?
I don't know if there's anyone in specific Coach may be referring to. I know that we're developing the guys. We're trying to get them ready. There's a big jump of guys. It's not an excuse. I mean, it's not. It's our job as coaches to get everybody better, to get everybody prepared. If Casey Thompson has to go in the game, he better be like Sam Ellinger. That's my job, right? That's what I'm supposed to do. So that's how I prepare them. That's how I coach them. And I think our staff does the same thing. Some guys have grasped on other than others. I can't answer each specific room and unit to be why this guy has and this guy hasn't. I don't know. I'm not in those rooms. I'm not in those meetings. I'm not in those walkthroughs for them to figure that out. Coach Herman might be, I'm not. So it's a tough one for me to answer. I can answer what I do, and I feel like I've done that with Casey and Sam and prepare those guys to get them ready to play. And for the most part, they've done a good job, both those guys.
Not to single out position coaches, but when you look at, your young receivers, Marcus Washington, Jake Smith, those guys, and then, Braden at tight end, just from even watching those guys on the scout team, do you feel like, just from a talent perspective, like those guys are for the most part
Yeah.
what you guys thought they were?
Absolutely. I think those guys are really good players. I think they'll help. Now is Marcus or Braden or even Jake ready to go out there and play 40 plays? Probably not. Are they asked to right now? Some of them are getting thrown in there, right? I mean, I think you look out there one time, 4 of our 5 skill guys were true freshmen. I know, like you're going to have some growing pains in there, and those growing pains attribute to some of the issues we said of the inconsistency that we have, and so that's where a year ago, every game you had LJ in a slot, you had Colin over there, you had Devin over there, you had Beck there, every game. So the continuity with Sam, he knew right where LJ was going to be, he knew right where this guy was going to be. Started every guy up front, the offensive line, never missed a game. It's like we've lost a little bit of that here towards the end, and it shows, and it's not the only reason, but it is part of the reason of some of the inconsistency, inefficiency that we're having first down, third downs, red zone, whatever it may be, that some of that's taken place there.